I just like literally really can't with the male species, and I don't think I've been so emotionally drained in a very, very long time. And guys, like, let me preface this story by telling you this is not the first time I've experienced something like this. This was probably the first like actual interaction where I felt like my safety, like in person, was threatened because there was someone in front of me. But I have had situations where people have tried contacting me to set up showings, sending me really crazy threats. Like, it's just like so much. And I feel like as a woman, it is just like so sick that we have to experience these things. And it goes on to like a whole other level too. Like, we can't even just leave our house without being talked to. Like, you know how crazy that is? And then let alone go to work and do your job, and you're literally, your safety is at risk. Like, do you know how crazy that is? Like, that is so crazy to me. Anyways, so this is what happened. I know Landon kind of told you the gist of it, but I'll tell you more in depth. So I had an open house today. So this is basically where we tell the general public, like, hey, you can come check out the house. You don't have to set up an appointment. You can just stop by and come see the house. So that's what I had today. Normally, when I do these things, I will have somebody else there because of this reason. But my partner that I work with is not feeling the best. I had nobody else that could join me today, so it was just me. Keep in mind, guys, I always keep a taser on me. I literally have a pink taser. I have pepper spray. I leave a lot of the doors and windows open in the house. I don't know, it just makes me like mentally, even when somebody else is there with me, it makes me feel safer because I don't know, it's just more open space and not so enclosed. So anyways, have an open house. I've done them by myself before, so I keep the door open. I have my signs outside. We have like these open house signs. Keep in mind, I don't have any pictures on any of my marketing material because I do not want creeps to come in, okay? So I'm not broadcasting what I look like to the world. It's just open house signs. So I have one outside of the house. It starts. I have this family come in, and they're super sweet walking around. I'm like just showing them the kitchen. They had a couple questions, and then this guy walks in, and I'm very like perceptive and sensitive to energy. I know I sound so dumb and cheesy saying that, but I really can tell when some shit's off with someone. And I just had a weird feeling. And it's happened before in an open house where I've had a weird feeling too. And I just like trust my judgment, right? So I have a weird feeling, but this family's still there. So I'm like, okay, thank God, I feel a lot more calm. Not that this is like a good thing that I do, but I try not to be too nice and friendly to guys, especially if they are by themselves. I almost have like a more stern, borderline rude attitude towards them, so they know not to like mess with me, right? So I obviously see him. I'm just like, hi, welcome in. The sheet's right there. Can you please sign in? I tell everybody to sign in because I need names. I have to report back to my seller. So this is a key part of. So he goes over there and signs in what I think. Like, I thought he signed in. Anyways, at this point, I'm still talking to the family. I know that he's like walking around, and there is this mirror. And as I'm in the kitchen with the family, I look in the mirror and I'm able to see him in the background. And he is literally just staring at me. I noticed that he's like analyzing. It was so creepy. Like, it was literally like he was like this. And I knew that he could not see that I could see him because my back was towards him. So the mirror's right here, and I'm looking back and I'm seeing him do that. So that was like the first thing that like that made my heart like just drop to my stomach. And I knew something was up. That was the first thing that made me know something was up. So that happened. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, what am I going to do when this family leaves and he's going to stay? Like, I know he is going to stay. Like, I felt that he was going to stay. So I'm like, what do I do? Anyways, as that's happening, the family goes upstairs and now it's just me and him downstairs. Another thing noted. Why did you not go upstairs? Why are you not upstairs by now? Like, it's very weird. Like, people take their time, but not that long. And as I'm downstairs, he comes up to me and he's like, I noticed you haven't been having many open houses lately. That, I was like, he knows of me. He's like watching what I'm doing, guys. Like, I feel like I could cry right now because it was just so scary. Like, just that comment alone, I was like, he's been having his eye on me. Because why are you going to say that to someone? Like, you haven't been having many open houses lately. So he says that to me. And to be honest, at this point, I couldn't even believe what I heard. And I don't even remember really what I said to him. But it was something along the lines of like, like it just recently I have not been doing them. I just said something, and it was like in a very, I know at that point he could tell like I was scared and I was like concerned. At that point, I was like, my partner always comes to them. Like, he'll always be here with me, and like he's on his way right now. Just to kind of like tell him like someone's going to show up, right? To like get him to know someone could come any second. So thank God at this point, like the family starts coming down. I hear them walking down the steps, and he just kind of like turns away, looks at me weird, and I'm like, okay. Family comes down and they're like, we're going to leave now. And I see the guy walk outside before the family did. So now I'm like, oh, thank God. And I know where his car is. The door is open, right? And he's just walking out to the car. So I'm like, thank God he's leaving. He like, probably saying that made him just like leave because something weird was up. So he leaves. They leave, and when this happens, like I've had weird people come into the house, I always like go outside. I go outside, I stand in the porch, I stand to the front so that if I need to run or something needs to happen or I need to scream, like there's neighbors on either sides of the homes, there's a street right there, you know, like I have multiple ways to like make it known that my safety is at risk. So anyways, I'm at the front of the porch, and at this point, I think I had called my partner at the time. At that moment, everything was kind of a blur because I was like so scared. My adrenaline was so high. Okay, so like I said, I'm like standing in front of the house at this point, and I am looking out at the cars because I'm keeping an eye on him. I'm on the porch, and I see the family's car drive off. And as I'm looking, I see him like scrummaging for something in the front. And at that point, I just felt weird. So I started walking towards the gate. And in that moment, he gets out of the car. I see that he has like a bouquet of flowers and some like box, like it looked like a box of chocolate. I don't know what it was, but some sort of box. And as I'm going to the gate, he starts coming up. Keep in mind, ladies, I think all girls that have been in a weird situation like this can say like that they do this approach. Like, I don't want to come off as like scared and frantic and like run and go close the door. Like, I kind of want him to know that like I'm not threatened and like do not mess with me, right? Like, I don't want to start panicking because I feel like he'll start panicking and doing things quicker. So as he's coming up, I'm like closer to the gate. He walks through the gate because he's closer to it than I am. Keep in mind, this house is a very long front. Like, the house is very set back. He is like, I just wanted to give this to you. I have been watching you, and I just think you're so sexy. And I was like, you need to leave, sir. Like, I just looked at him dead in his eye and I said, you need to leave, sir. And he said, I feel like this is my only opportunity and I'm going to stay until you accept these flowers. Please take these hours, and he started getting more aggressive. And at this point, I am just like so scared. I don't know what to do. And I said, sir, you need to leave or I'm calling the police. And he said, I am going to wait here. I don't care if the police come. This is my only opportunity with you. So at this point, I just start dialing 911 in front of him and I put it on speaker. And it was like the second he heard that, he was like, oh shit. Like I saw something click and he just took off and ran. He got back into his car and drove away super fast. I can't even believe something like that happened to me. And I don't think I've ever been more scared in my life. And like, it's kind of like when you have a nightmare and you just keep thinking of this person's face. And I just can't get his face out of my head. Obviously, I filed a police report, his description. I was trying to make a mental note of his license plate on his car, but I couldn't. I just described to the police like what kind of car it was. But ladies, this is just like a reminder. You have to be safe and protected at all times. Like, take more precaution than not. Like, I should have literally not done that open house without having somebody there. I should have canceled it because there are so many weirdos and there is so many people that are keeping an eye on you. And I think especially now, since like, obviously I'm really involved with Landon's stuff and there's more people who watch me, it's like 15 times scarier. And, even before Landon, like I said at the beginning of these videos, like I've had incidences. I wish I had the text. They were on my old phone. Sending me pictures of myself, somebody threatening harm upon me. They would call me from no caller IDs and try setting up showings. And like, I knew something was off. Like there's so many times weird stuff like this has happened. And I can only imagine how many other women I just can only imagine like the other stories that women in this field have. And honestly, every single industry with women, like even just a girl going out. Like I said, you literally can't exit your house without being bothered by a man. It's ridiculous and it's really scary. And I hope something like this doesn't happen to anyone because it was the scariest experience ever. And this is just a reminder, ladies, like keep pepper spray, keep tasers, stay safe. Like even if you're walking in a parking garage, I know a lot of the times I'm like on my phone thinking of 80 million things. Like try being present as much as possible when you're by yourself and checking your surroundings. And yeah, guys, like this was just traumatizing.